Okay then, so I'm joined by the County Carpool Karaoke King, John Morgan himself. John, how's it going, mate? You okay?
Not too bad, not too bad. I've been quiet on the song front. So, yeah, I make the work at the moment. There's no bucket hats, there's no songs. I don't know what to do for a living now.
No, I'm sure you'll think of something. There's plenty of ideas creeping around up here, isn't there?
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Up there for the thinking, down here for dancing.
Good man. So, some bad news today, obviously, regarding Mark O'Brien and his forced retirement due to having to have heart surgery. I mean, it's freaking gutting, mate, isn't it?
I mean, it's devastating because he was a big person for the club, on and off the pitch. The work he used to do with the community. He was a big character, and again, it just says it all. Regardless of what the fans are saying, your true test is the players, because the players see him day in, day out, and not one person has just said, "Oh, thanks for being a teammate. See you later." And you can suss then who's a well-liked character and who's not.
Yeah.
Jamil, Podge, all of them have been saying that's a boy you want to go to the trenches with, and you'd be proud to go there with, and that's the depth of his character, clearly, and that's from the players. That's
So do you remember back when we first signed him?
God, bloody hell.
So Graham Wesley was the manager.
It was when Wesley came in, and he bought O'Brien. Did he bring in Demetriou as well?
Yeah. He brought in Demetriou. The one little shred of praise I'll give to Graham Wesley is that he made some great signings during that window, and I think O'Brien and Demetriou were two of them. But I remember when O'Brien came in, because I know he came from Luton, didn't he? He was let go by Luton, and well, I think Luton paid him off or gave him the opportunity to find another club.
Yeah,
we came knocking for him. Now I could remember his name as being a really young Irish lad playing first team football for Derby in the Championship. So I thought, bloody hell.
Yeah, that rings a bell, that does.
So, and I thought to myself, bloody hell, that's a signing and a half. You know, I wonder how he's aged. You know, if he came from Luton, Luton were looking, players from like League One standard and above, because they are above League One standard and above themselves. So I thought to myself, we could have a really good defender here. And that's what I remember when it was announced that we signed him. Because I know, obviously, we got some money about a year or two before from the Connor Washington deal.
Yeah.
So Connor Washington was sold to Peterborough. And part of that was 25% of the profit made on his next transfer came to us. And obviously QPR bought him from Peterborough for $3.5 million. So 25% of the profit from that $3 million profit, because Peterborough bought him for $500,000 from us, it meant that we got a chunk, a quarter of that $3 million.
That was definitely, see, now this is where the contracts come into play, how important they are. Because look at that, if we hadn't just tied down Connor into something as good as that, like as a contract, like the sell-on fees, could have kissed that great escape goodbye, really. So it's funny, all this stuff you don't even think about in the short term, but the long term, it can save your backside.
Yeah.
I remember reading about him when he first came in, and the one thing that stuck out for me was actually he actually had part of a pig's heart in his actual heart.
Is it?
Yeah, so I remember when he first came to the club, for some reason I was looking like medically. I know he'd had heart trouble before. So I know that was something that was there, because he's had, I think his aorta was replaced with like a pig's aorta. There's basically it's part of a pig in O'Brien. Which I don't know if that's helped his playing or helped his appetite, one of the two. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Then the thing is, obviously, for O'Brien, it wasn't, like I say, the greatest of starts for him, not individually, but being part of the team that was losing every bloody week near enough.
Yeah.
The Wesley. And obviously, one of his darker days, obviously, would have been part of being the team of, the 4-0 loss which ultimately...
That was an horrible game. I remember sitting in the I was in the terraces, right to the left of the away end, or the away box, whatever you call it, and you could just feel it. It was just as soon as the first goal went in, it was just you just looked at the players. Everyone just looked battered and done. Interesting. Now this is a conversation. Funny enough, when we did survive, it was that very night. I was sat down with Butler and Samuels, and we were there in Hogarth. That's another story. But we sat down there, and I openly asked. I said, "So, what was the main factor for you personally? Why did that result happen?" So I said that was a massive result. Turns out it was all like pre-season training they were doing in season. So when people were saying how the boys looked lethargic and whatnot, and they looked terrible, it was because they were shattered.
Yeah.
So the management had just basically got all these great young players in, like O'Brien, Demetriou, and just gone, right, floor them. And that was it. Everyone was knackered. And
that was what was costing us games, because there was a lot of quality in that team, and that was apparent. That there was quality within that team, and you couldn't understand why they were losing. And the thing is, we would do well in games, but it would always be towards the end. We'd always crumble.
Yeah,
like
2-0 up.
2-0 up away to Cambridge, and we ended up losing the game 3-2. That's the perfect example of the collapse. And I read an article. It was an extract. The article was an extract from John Parkin's book, and he was explaining in there, under Wesley, what it was like. And for him, being a big lad and all that, the fitness work wasn't something that he was particularly keen on. And he said that under Wesley, there were players there, and they were just getting absolutely, battered. They getting beasted the shit out of, in training every single day. So you can understand why they were so bloody knackered. So Wesley's reign of terror at the freaking end, especially, you lose 4-0 at home to the whipping boys of the division who are having to play their youth team because they can't field.
Yeah, they had all the youngsters there.
And the worst thing about it, I was stood in that stand with a bad fucking back, mate, right? Because I'd been lifting the rain sheets off the freaking pitch before the game. Me and the missus went down there, and there was other people down there. There was a load of volunteers there lifting these sheets up off the pitch because they'd laid them down because of the rainfall before. We did all that for that.
Sure, it kicks you right between the legs, and it don't even ask you how you're feeling. It's things like that when people put so much effort into the other stuff for the part of the club, and then when you see stuff like that on the pitch, ultimately people always have a go with the players and whatnot, but there's always another reason. It's not the reason that you see at hand. It's usually the reason that there's something hidden. Again, it's like Wesley, just beasting players and hammering them into the ground. And then since then, Flynn.
Yeah. So Flynn was appointed then, and obviously he turned it round straight away. Probably allowed the guys to actually play a bit of football in training and not absolutely smash them.
Probably just let them have fun. I mean, like, let's be honest. You're running your knackers off every day. You're getting beat on the weekend. Then you're losing 4-0, like you said, the whipping boys. The last thing you want to do is go to training and work hard. You kind of want to go to training and go, do you know what? Can we just have a laugh? Can we just do just something just to make us smile again, or just, I don't know, knock some balls in the goal and get your confidence up? And you just want to have fun and just be a bunch of prats again, because that'll get you laughing, smiling, and all those positive things.
Yeah.
You can then apply that into when you start going to the coaching side. There's nothing worse than going into a training session and it's, right, we lost on the weekend, right, you lot, you shit, sort that out, right, focus straight on, bang hard. You're better off getting everyone G'd up, getting everyone laughing, and then go, right, let's set the record straight, now let's move on from... And again, there's ways that you manage things. Again, it's the psychology of language as well. So I don't particularly think many coaches actually have the ability to coach. They got the ability to pick up great training sessions. You can have the best training session in the world, but it's how you deliver it, it's how you talk and how you speak to people. That's how you coach and that's how you manage. And that's what I think Wesley felt then, because it was my way or the highway, do all this fitness or fuck off.
Definitely an ego there, wasn't there?
he's just so funny. I mean, look at him. Do you know what? I bet you if he watches this interview, he'll listen back to what you said about him buying O'Brien and Demetriou, and he'll write a column about this saying, "Proof in the pudding. I was the one who helped save the county."
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll take credit for whatever the frickin' hell he can. I'm trying not to swear, Nate, because
that's all he is, really.
Yeah. So obviously we moved on then, and O'Brien was a starter in the centre of our defence. Pretty much every game for Flynn, and everything turned around.
He was rock, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being there. My granddad used to love him because he was the only player that would just stick his head in everywhere, and he was just a classic footballer. Like you said, he did the basics to a high level.
Yeah.
And he played things safe, and I think that's what we needed back when we started leaking in goals. And all it was if in doubt, boot it out. And he'd done it to a T. And eventually, that's when we stopped letting goals in, and we started sneaking 1-0s and stuff like that. I think we went on like a streak of like 3 1-0 wins on the Banks or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
It was something silly like that. And again, that all comes back down to those two at the back. Again, O'Brien playing a massive figure in it. Now, people talk about Demetriou being like a leader. He's a leader, but O'Brien was a mouth. He was barking orders. He was telling people where to go, and he just wouldn't shut up. And that character, that do or die, that just bled through the entire squad. Then, I mean, imagine, look at the leaders we had in that squad: Demetriou, Pipe, O'Brien. Who else did we have at the time? Dave probably was a bit of a leader as well.
Josh Hardy as the captain.
Bloody Labs as well. Bennett's based with Bennett.
Yeah.
We had so many big players to fall back on to go, right, we need to step it up now. Boys, are we in? All right, we're going to the trenches tonight. You come in?
Yeah.
That sort of attitude.
They certainly did that, didn't they? And to the point where we went up to Carlisle, didn't we? Did you go on that trip?
No, but I remember watching on the telly on Sky, and I remember seeing the results coming through. Was it Labs got the last minute? Was it Labs got the last minute goal, or Brian?
No, it was Carlisle. We ended up losing 2-1. Now we went 1-0 up. It was a Demetriou header that put us in front, and imagine we're up there. We're going absolutely berserk because at that point we were staying up regardless of what happened in the Notts County game then. And Carlisle had promotion aspirations, didn't they? They ended up finishing that season, and they ended up turning the game around and beating us 2-1. Mainly because Alex Samuel and Mark Randall both had to come off. So Samuel and Randall both had to come off with knocks, and we missed our midfield threat in Randall, who was picking the passes, and our attacking threat in Samuel. So we had nothing on the pitch. Although Demetriou hit a free kick towards the end and nearly got one in to equalise, but even then that wouldn't have been enough. But to be honest, I the way the Great Escape panned out, it wouldn't change a thing, because obviously that game then led us to Notts County. Now that game pre-match right? I was selling half-time draw tickets, and it was the most nervous I'd ever been selling half-time draw tickets. And I can remember looking back and seeing the queue of people. Yeah. Obviously, we didn't have the facilities to get people through the gate quick enough. And I just looked over, you just see the queue all the way past the squash club, all the way around. It wasn't far away from me selling the half-time draw. You can see that. You just realise how big the occasion was because it brought all those people out for it.
It was massive. I mean, do you know what? It says a lot. You had a couple of the Aberystwyth football boys. Now, they just love Welsh football in general. Everybody wanted the ticket to be there because everybody had this. It was a sense that something was going to happen. Not one person was there saying about, oh, it's going to be close. Everyone was like, it's do or die. We're going to do it. We're going to make it. My old man, he gives this straight, and usually he's right about it. I should ask him for betting tips, but he was just there saying we'll win 2-1, and it was just that belief of we weren't going down. Not one person I spoke to was there going, oh Jesus Christ, I can't think what's going to happen if we go down. It was not that attitude. It was we're going to do it. We've done it all this time, and we're going to do it on the last game of the season.
But we've got to think going in. And the reason why we were so confident to think about it, Flynn and his team had won 6 in 11 at that point.
Yep.
And the team before that had won 5 in how many? 34. And that team, for a large period, included Josh Sheehan and Rhys Healey, who both ended up leaving during their loan spells. Obviously, Josh Sheehan got the injury and Rhys Healey got called up to the Cardiff first team. So considering we had 2 players like that, and we still only managed to win 5 games, obviously we threw a team together. We obviously brought Pipey back, we brought Ryan Bird in, we brought Mitch Rhodes in, and there was a couple of players that basically didn't really make any real impact, like United Gordon.
They just didn't click. You had, but even with Jackson as well, like I don't know why certain players just couldn't find the flow of the game, and they were always a step off or half a step too far. And he was a classic example of that. As a striker, the ball would be going up, and he'd be there jumping half a yard too soon or half a yard too late. And I don't know if that comes down to a different style of play or what his preference is or how they coach or whatnot, but nothing clicked at all. It just looked like you said. It just got like a load of players just thrown together.
For a very small period, it did though. Obviously, we had that win away at Notts County. We beat Carlisle at home and ended their 20-something game unbeaten run by beating them 2-0 at home. Rhys Healey getting the goals. So we thought we were onto something with Wesley. Obviously, the first couple of games didn't really go his way, but something changed. But the moment it flipped back was Wickham at home when we lost 1-0 to that late free kick. And then it just went to fucking pot then.
Yeah.
And then I think he obviously managed to get a couple of wins at home. Okay, I think we beat Hartlepool and I think it might have been, was it Colchester? Someone like that. We beat 2 teams at home. And then it just went to rat shit then. And then it ended with Leyton Orient. Then Flynn turned the whole thing round. Like I said, 5 wins in 34. At this point, we're at the Notts County game now. 6 wins in 11 compared to 5 wins in 34. It just shows how big that was. You know, I know we only drew the one. We drew the one game. You know, we lost a few games within that run, but we lost to teams like Blackpool and Plymouth and Portsmouth.
I remember their manager started celebrating on the pitch as if they'd won the FA Cup.
Yeah, and getting a sweet in the gob then.
Or like a sweet at him.
So, you know, I mean, there was obviously 5 games which we didn't win, and they were against 4 promotion chasing teams. 3 of them went up that season: Plymouth, Portsmouth, and Blackpool.
Do you know what? Our running for the last few games was horrible. Like we had to play all the top half.
All right.
Like we didn't do it the easy way. Everything was the top half of the table. Like,
yeah, I mean, we had Accrington as well. We had Accrington as well, and we managed to beat them. We had Luton, who we drew 1-1 with. And the other games, Crewe were sort of mid-table. Morecambe were sort of mid-table at the time.
Yeah, Over at home as well. I remember we beat them 1-0.
Over at home, Crawley at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, Accrington at home. Wasn't there another away win somewhere in amongst all that as well?
Yeah.
There was 7 wins in 12, wasn't it? It was Accrington, Crawley, Yeovil.
And a draw away at Cheltenham as well.
But that wasn't during the Great Escape. That was under Wesley. That was. That was Wesley. That was.
I remember that. I remember watching that because I remember that was a vital goal as well.
Yeah.
Because I just seen that. I just about held him on, to be honest.
Because that's the big point of it was obviously the Barnet beating Hartlepool away when we beat Accrington at home, and then we came out of the spot for the first time.
I've seen that. What's it on the big screen? There's actually jumping over. The first time in God knows how many weeks we were actually out of the relegation zone.
Yeah. Well, that felt good, didn't it? Obviously,
you just knew something was happening, and you just thought we're going to do it. We're actually out. That's it. We're not going down now.
The Carlisle game was it was a kick in the bollocks, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's how I felt, as if I'd taken a swift, bad kick right in the nuts after that game. So I thought I just wanted it to be over. To tell you what, the anxiety in me throughout that Great Escape, oh mate, it was unreal.
It was weird. I mean, I don't know for you, but for me, the build-up, it was like a carnival atmosphere. I remember all us boys, we were all over the pub having a few drinks, and it was just a buzz. Like it was a bit of nervous energy, but there was excitement there as well. Like it wasn't like, it wasn't as if like, oh geez, we got to do this, we got to do it. It's like, we're gonna do this. I can't wait for the party after. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it right in the last minute.
The thing is, though, I mean, the way it went down. I mean, we were at home and we'd won the majority of our home games. But the one thing is that Hartlepool had to play Doncaster,
top of the table.
Yeah, going for the title. And you're thinking, there's no way they're going to win, and they have to win. There's only one way Hartlepool stay up, is if they win and we don't. And no one even anticipated that they would even get close to winning against Doncaster. But then, obviously, the game kicked off, and it was nervous and tense, and I had to phone out the entire time, right? And I was on Sky Bet because that was the quickest update.
Yeah, the bet apps are.
And I had Sky Bet on, and then I was watching it, and I think Hartlepool went 1-0 down. I think it was either just before or just after we scored our penalty. I think it might have been just before.
Yeah.
Now, I remember looking at it and seeing... The thing is, on your betting app, I use Sky Bet on mine. When someone's on an attack and all the betting gets suspended, if they're on a dangerous attack and all the betting gets suspended, that means something significant has happened. They've either like hit the post or had something cleared off the line, penalty, or usually the way it turned out was that it was a goal. And I was like, oh, fuck, this could be a goal. The Doncaster dangerous attack.
Yeah.
And everything went off, suspended. I'm like trying to watch the game, but looking down as well, thinking, hold on, this is happening. And I look down, goal, Doncaster. And I thought, as you do.
And when we had the penalty as well, though, I mean, it's nervous having a penalty, though, because it's a 50-50. It's never a dead cert. And you could just feel it in the crowd. We got the penalty, and that was it. Everyone erupted, and then all of a sudden it was like, reality's just hit. Shit, we've actually got to score this now. Mickey stepped up, and you were just praying to God he was going to leather it.
But
and then,
you knew,
bang, and it just went off. It was bouncing, and that was it. And the fans went mental.
Oh yeah. The thing is, I knew with Dimitri, if he hit it as hard as he can hit it with his left foot, as long as it's going to either side of the keeper, it's going in. There's no way that keeper's going to stop the ball. There's no way he's going to be able to get to that ball. Obviously, before and he did go the right way, but it's so hard and it's so sweet, and not right up in the top corner, but to the upper side of the keeper. There was no way he was going to stop it. And look at that. I mean, Leno John Lewis was out for the season, and then he came back, and this was
he's done a job, mind, didn't he?
His only start of the season, and he won the penalty that put us 1-0 up. I mean,
that's got to be because he was just taking their back foot to pieces because he was and he was leaning into them. He was holding them off. He was holding the ball up, which gave space to the midfield to run in behind and run over the top. And he was quality that game. But I just remember after that goal, it got a bit ratty then. I remember we weren't finding the run then. It looked as if like it was just a little bit to and fro him. And then we got to half time and I thought, right, we got to survive this because I definitely can see that this is a team. They got Alan Smith. They got other quality
John Stead playing for them.
John Stead.
Yeah.
And you could just see there was just something there that you just knew something was happening. There was a buzz about you, but it was just, it just wasn't, it didn't fit right. Then second half, they started to get a bit of the run. And then I remember being down in the terraces, right to the right-hand side of Flynn's area. And everybody was just there. You could feel, that's when I could feel it. It's by the 50th or 60th minute. And I think that's when Hartlepool scored, or it was either Hartlepool or Notts, one of the two. Who scored first? Was it Hartlepool?
So I'm sure Notts came to equalise first, but because Hartlepool were losing, I wasn't bothered. I thought, Hartlepool are losing anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it. And I remember everyone looking at the results going, oh, look, that's it. And then all of a sudden, this geezer next to me just went, oh, no, Hartlepool are scored. And he's saying in such a drab way, I just felt like melting. I thought, oh, Jesus Christ.
So it was
That's when I started. My arsehole was going like that then.
Oh.
That's when it started. That's when it hit me hard. And I was like, I don't know how you felt, but I don't know. It was minging. I hated it.
So was that the first or second out of the pool goal you're talking about now? Just the first?
The first goal, I hated it because I was just a bit like, oh, geez, knowing how, look, this is what's going to happen. When the second goal went in, I actually felt sick. Like, I mean, I'm not even trying to puff it up now. I genuinely felt sick.
Mate, I was obviously watching our game thinking, this is going to finish 1-1. We're not scoring in this game. You know, this is there's no goals in this game.
We couldn't do anything, could we? We couldn't get anything forward, and we were just crap then. They scored, and we were shit.
There was signs of, you know, Carlisle away, Plymouth away, you know, where we got, you know, bollocked down Plymouth, you know, and it was gutting. It was gutting to feel it, and it really got you in there, and something punched you in the stomach, put their hand up inside you, grabbed your heart, and started fucking yanking it down. That's the feeling I got at Plymouth when we were getting hammered by them, because a point would have done us the absolute world of good that day. You know, when even Plymouth fans saying, "Oh yeah, I'll be happy with the point," because all they needed was a point to get promoted, and instead they absolutely battered us.
Yeah.
And it was just that feeling that, you know, just yanking out, you know, your heart was being yanked out of you, you know, after a swift punch in the freaking bread basket, like, you know. And Carlisle's way was the same.
I mean, it was up to the 85th minute. I remember actually looking at my phone then with boys around me, and it was just like nobody wanted to quit. Like you felt like the players were just going to do or die, and even with the fans, like usually you see some fans, they just like, oh, that's it, right? Nobody wanted to quit, and we were like, we're not going out. Everyone was so adamant that we're not going down. We are not going down. We're going to do it. But I'm usually positive as hell, I am. But the only time I ever thought, you know what, I think we're done for, was the 85th minute, because I looked and I thought I couldn't see anything happening. I was like, everything we did, it was blocked, it was harried, it was pressed, and then they go on the counter, and it just wouldn't happen. And then I remember I was standing there on the right hand side. Ball comes over the pipe, and there's all of us going, "Fucking cross it! Fucking cross it!"
Yeah.
And you're screaming your guts out. There's fucking blood coming out of you. You're screaming that hard. And
I was holding my hand,
fucking tight together, and then all of a sudden, you just see O'Brien pops up, and you couldn't see it really. All you saw was his head pop up. You saw the ball, and the next minute you went, "Fuck!" And you know what? It was like being a heavy metal festival. That goal went in, and that was it. It was like being in a mosh pit. It just went up. I think I travelled about 40 meters in front and back, just flying all over the place.
So see for me, I had my phone in my hand, praying for the Doncaster equaliser, because I couldn't see the winner coming from us. And I was looking at my phone, and looking there, Doncaster dangerous attack, but nothing was getting suspended. I was like, oh, come on, Doncaster, you're on the attack. Fucking get the goal, please. And then at that point, I just stopped and I looked up. The moment the ball fell at Pipey's feet, and I was like,
I can still remember it now. I can still see it.
There's something going to happen here now, because I was thinking, you know, how long's left, like, you know, because the Hartlepool game was saying like 89th minute and all that. I'm like, surely it's not that late in the game. I'm just there thinking, oh my fucking God. And then I just caught it then. From where I stand, up there, Pipey got the ball at his feet. And I still had my phone in my hand, and I was ready to look back at it, but he crossed it, and I looked. And I can't remember seeing the ball going anywhere after leaving his foot, other than the point that it went into the goal. And I looked, but when everyone went mad, I paused for a second to think, is that going in? And the rest then. Somehow my didn't leave my hand. You know, by the end of it, my phone was still in my hand, and I started doing a recording for a video that's on this channel then. But I looked around, and I could just see the eruption around. The smoke bomb up there. You see
the smoke bomb as well.
4 of them there. You can see it, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, this is an absolute colossal moment that's gonna vibrate around the world of football, let alone, you know, just Newport." And it did. You know what, that goal was talked about so much, and I didn't even see the goal go in. I didn't even know who scored it until someone told me it was O'Brien.
I just saw his beard. That's all I saw.
And you could see
gnarly beard. I don't know. I wonder what he was growing it for. I don't know if he had like a competition. Like I'm not shaving my beard until we get promoted. We beat relegation.
Yeah.
But he just he had that gnarly beard growing on, and he's like a bloody caveman.
Yeah.
Again, that says all about him. He was like a warrior, like a fucking Viking.
Yeah.
Do anything just to get the result. But I don't know if you added anybody. There's people I've never met some of these people in my life. And you're hugging them, you're kissing them. Yeah. These old men crying, these young guys crying, these people fucking beating their chests, these people punching the walls just because they're so happy. I don't know why, but that's why some people in Newport celebrate. But that was on the 87th minute, and it was Huxtable. Huxtable goes and chucks it. Was it 7 minutes?
Or 5 it was. So it was 5 minutes.
We played bloody 7 though, didn't we?
Oh yeah. That was the longest, sort of between 5 and 10 minutes in total that I can remember. And obviously, because the goal went in the 89th minute, it wasn't quite stoppage time by the time they kicked off. So, but I tell you, 2 players who were not recognised as great county players who, within that time, because Notts County wanted to relegate us, they were desperate to relegate us. You could see it in them. They wanted to send us down.
Yeah.
What beef they had with us, maybe because we battered them at their place and we were the whipping boys at the time and they didn't like it.
Wales and England, innit?
Well, there's that even as well. Send the sheep shaggers down, as they all say. Yeah. But Sean Rigg and Marlon held that ball up in that corner for at least 3.5, 5 minutes, and they couldn't get at that corner. You could see them getting.
Jackson did well. Was that corner? How much of a kicking did he take, mine?
Oh, he took it to play his part. Now, people will criticise him for his lack of goals, but that
said a lot.
That contribution he made in that stoppage time made so much difference because they were desperate to get the ball down the other end of the pitch, and they only managed to get it down there once and get off one shot, which thankfully blazed over the bar. But then, you're waiting for the whistle to go and the ball's bouncing around, and all of a sudden
it was just ping-ponging, wasn't it, right by the dugouts? And he was back and forth, piping his head with his big head.
Oh, mate, but then that anxiety that I was talking about, that was there, and it was pushing down on me the entire time. All of a sudden that whistle went, you just feel it go like that, and that was it. You were gone.
That whistle went, and oh my God. It just, there's no other word, it's an explosion. That was it. It just went bang. The players ran on the pitch, and manager ran on the pitch. Do you know what? Just before they blew the whistle, you had Tom Owen Evans. He was sat straddling the part of the dugout, half in the fans, half with the players, singing Amber Army. And you could just see it then, like, fuck, we are together. You could just see a sense of the players. And jeez. Sid Nelson as well, mine. I got a big shout out to him.
Oh, big time.
I wish we'd signed him. He was a class player.
Yeah.
Absolute quality player.
I'm glad you mentioned Tom Owen Evans, but what a freaking hero himself for that winner at Exeter, because that was the big.
That was his
that's one that I couldn't
his first goal, wasn't it? Like his first, what do you call it, goal? Like league goal or something?
And that was the thing. I mean, you look at the teams we had to play. I mean, we beat Accrington and Exeter, who were 2 promotion pushers. Luton were a promotion pusher, and we managed to get the draw against them. And the teams we lost against: Carlisle, Portsmouth, Plymouth.
Yeah.
All promotion pushers.
Didn't do the easy way.
And Notts County were one of the form teams in the division at that point, because that was when they first took on Kevin Nolan. So playing Notts County was like playing against someone, because they were in promotion freaking form, and mind you, we were as well.
What about though? I don't know if you saw it, but it's about a couple of minutes before the end, and all the boys were like, "Hold on, mate, it's Kevin Nolan." Kevin Nolan's walked off. He's shaking hands. He knows what's going to happen after the final whistle, and he's legged it. He's like, "You later, lads."
Yeah. And then Brett Huxtable did the same, didn't he? You see him on
the video. He shit himself.
DVD, and he's scarpers, doesn't he? He's there with his board, and he's scarpering because he knows what's coming. He's gone.
As soon as everyone started running on the pitch, picking the players up, and the drum was on there. You had all the. I remember finding a Wenger ape sign as well. Like, remember when that was a fashion thing? Everyone had to bring a Wenger ape sign. Yeah.
No, that found, I don't know who brought that in, but that found its way in with the Amber Army group. We were there banging away with the drum, and everybody joined in with us.
I remember being around you lot before I'd even known you, and just jumping. And that American kid as well.
Yeah, off.
Yeah, because he was there.
Flew all the way from freaking California for that game.
Yeah,
all the way from California, like. And the thing is, he got to party with the team in the dressing room afterwards. They took him in there to go party with them. I'm like, what a memory,
Fair play. I mean, what a dedication to fly all the way around the world for that. First game your first live game of football, like, and you watch that game, that atmosphere, that would convince anybody that football is the greatest sport on this earth, hands down.
Mate, yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, the only disappointment that I had from that is that there were 6,500 home fans in the ground that day. And I don't know how every single one of them didn't want to come to every single match after that. I really can't, for the life of me, understand after going through that game, thinking to yourself, oh, well, I enjoyed that, but I'm not going to bother going again, though. How the hell do you even take that decision?
There's a proportion of Newport people. I'm not gonna generalise, but the Newport Football Club has never been the best supported thing in Newport, really, all throughout the years. Considering how many people we got as a population, we've never been that well supported throughout the years. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a trait or a characteristic. Even though football's booming in Newport, there's football teams all over the place. But again,
it goes to show how much of a rugby town this is. The amount of Dragons tops I saw when we went to Wembley for the first time. When we took the 13,000 to Wembley, how many Dragons shirts? Because they didn't own a Newport County, but they had to wear something Newport, so they were wearing Dragons.
God,
nuts.
It's a little bit embarrassing as well as a football club. I mean, imagine that you're going to some other team's ground and you see all them turn up in their England tops, or they turn up in their rugby tops. And again, it's the same with us. I'm not knocking people who do it.
Oh, no.
Fair play to you come out and support the boys. But again, that's something that the club's got to look at then as well, like as a marketing thing.
Anyone is as good as anybody else, isn't it? Anyone's money is as good as anybody else's. Money is there. It's just, money is money. So anyone who wants to come watch a county, whether they don't want to do it all the time, and then they come now and again, or they come once in a blue moon or whatever. At the end of the day, I can't, I'm not going to put money into the club. At any point.
But that game though, like the atmosphere
after that game, how that didn't get you hooked. Then there were plenty of people that it did. There was a lot of new faces that we started seeing on a more regular basis. Then, obviously, on the back of that, and that was great. I think we birthed a new generation of supporters on the back of that. There'd have been people who never used to went, who may have started going because they were aware of what happened to that game and thought, oh bloody hell, look what's going on over there. I need to be a part of that next season. So,
we went from like 2,000 to 2,500 to about 3,000 to 3,500, really, I think.
Yeah.
And this season we put about 4,000 a couple of times.
There was a couple of Tuesday games, home games. I think it was one of them was Stevenage, I remember, and we lost 2-0 at home to Stevenage on the build up the Wesley sacking, and that I'm sure there was about 1,700 fans. It's the lowest I'd seen at Rodney Parade for home fans. But then obviously the Great Escape happened. Mark O'Brien, the man of the hour, scored that belting winning goal, as we know. And moving on from that, then, obviously, we're running out a bit of time. We've gone on.
Here's a funny one, Mike. I got to throw it out there. So after the game, we're all in. We went to Hogarth. Don't ask how. I ended up latching on with the players. I don't ask how. I just kind of got lumped in with them. So I'm sat in there in courtyard, up with all the players. I remember being at the bar with Labadine O'Brien, and I asked him, I was like, what did you think about that? He said, I didn't even know who scored it. He scores the most important goal, really, in current county history, And he was brilliant. His response, I can't even remember scoring. I had to ask Labs who scored it. Or imagine that massive moment. You're like, hey lads, who's got this?
Yeah, but then it's like when I was talking to Azza, and he was talking about his goal at Wembley and everything like that, and he just said, a lot of it is a blur. It is, isn't it? When you're in a moment like that, I can only imagine what kind of pressure's on you. But like I say, obviously the Great Escape was achieved. We managed to do it, and what we wanted as fans was a bit more stability and just be away from relegation. And Mark O'Brien, man of the hour, was a big part for me over the next 2 seasons in bringing us up to another level. I believe that we're going to be mid-table or better for the foreseeable future now.
Oh, totally.
He scored that goal and kept us in the Football League. And then, like I say, he played a big part, playing the role as captain a lot as well, mind.
He was a great leader. And regardless, even if he didn't have the armband on, he was a captain. Even there was games where Mickey was the captain or whatever, Labs, he was still the captain, or he would still play a role. He didn't care. He didn't need an armband. He just had his mate, and he knew his role. He knew his responsibility, and he was really passionate, from what I've seen, about this club doing well.
Yeah.
And the way he played was, he gave it his all, absolutely, and he'd do anything. Like, he'd spit, he'd tear, he'd stamp, he'd do everything to stop you from scoring. If you remember when we played Mansfield at home, he almost got sent off, but that says how willing he was, because they had their lad. It might have been Otis Khan, it might have been. Their lad was going in on goal, and O'Brien takes him down. Now, it could have been a sending off offence, but that was his way of thinking. And again, he got sent off against Tranmere in the final.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'll take one for the team. I'm not having anybody go one-on-one with our keeper and get a goal-scoring chance.
Not at this point of the game, at least, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, at least being down to 10 men, they've only got to hold it on for half hour then, They've only got to hold it on for half hour in extra time. And I still think we were the better team in extra time, even.
Oh, we were. We got cheated out of it. VAR should have been there. And clearly, we had 2 penalty decisions. The one with Jammer is a dead certain penalty.
Obviously, Stonewaller. Absolute Stonewaller.
What do you get when money talks, clearly?
Yeah. But the thing is, I always say that the Mike Dean effect had an effect on the referee. I mean, when you're a League 2 ref and you've got the most famous referee in the country, following his team in the final, are you going to give a penalty against his team?
What's to say that he says, right, if you have a good game, referee in this, I'll be able to put in a good word for you to get you in League 1 or Championship game. Because that's essentially what they want to do. If they can go up the run, they will. Same as coaches.
I mean, I'd be surprised.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to do what they got to do to see their team go up. If they got the power to make it happen. I mean, you'd be crazy to at least, not think, along that kind of line. At least think about it. But the thing for me, I just think the Mike Dean effect played a massive, massive role in that final. But the one thing I'll never ever do is hold it against. I know some fans do. I think some of those fans probably may not have been coming when Mark O'Brien scored that winning goal against Notts County. But anyone that holds that sending off against him in that final needs a long, long look at themselves and a long, long history lesson.
Well, they don't understand the character. I mean, football's unless you've properly played it and you understand what it means to sacrifice for your team. That's not an easy decision. That's not an easy decision at all to go, look, I'm gonna have to go and take someone down. I know I'm gonna get a card. I know I'm probably gonna get sent off, but I can't risk the fact that they would score. He would happily get sent off, and Newport win, then him let him through, and then the other team score, but he's still on the pitch. That says a lot about a character. And again, that do or die, that take him to the trenches attitude. He would probably get shot in the trenches just so you wouldn't get shot.
But then obviously a lot of people are saying that obviously with Norwood himself, he wasn't really going anywhere because Dimitri would have covered him over the other side of the pitch. But Mark O'Brien wasn't to know that. I'm sure if he knew that, he wouldn't have done it.
Again, it's just that the commitment from him. That's all you can see. I mean, every situation that we can look in for football, we can always go coulda, woulda, shoulda, and that's going up to the top Ronaldo and Messi level. Like even up there, you're like, could have done this, could have done that.
Oh yeah.
But for his services and what he gave to the club, he gave us an identity of a hard fighting squad that didn't quit. And he was one of many people that embodied that philosophy, and it just grew. And now, instead of us looking for a replacement for him for the position, now we're looking for a replacement for the character. And again, I guarantee the signing now, it won't be a defender who's X, Y, and Z and the skills are certain, blah, 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 whatever it is. It'll be a person who embodies that same do or die character, because that's what we are now. And that's what our culture is. That's what our philosophy is. We are a team of fighters. This season, I think there's a couple of players that came into the squad that didn't have that same ideology. No matter how much you fight against it, you're not going to get a perfect wins all the time. But that season after, that ideology and that philosophy was bled through the squad, and Mark O'Brien was a big, big part in that. So, and it's
absolutely.
People need to realise football. It's not all about the technical ability all the time. It's about what you can do as well as a motivator, as a performer.
There's a saying
do anything to stop the other team from winning.
There's a saying that I like, which sums this conversation up really well. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Do you know what? That is absolutely spot on. I mean, how many players have we seen at that club who are talented beyond belief? You know they can do something, they just won't pull their finger out.
When you look at Adam Chapman, for example, he had all the talent in the world. He could have played at high level, but he just never applied himself. He wasn't willing to dig in deep and work hard for the team. But then you look at David Pipe, not the most talented footballer ever, but the work rate and effort and the example he leads by on the pitch. And Mark O'Brien, was very much like that. And I tell you something, he's going to be a massive miss. And there's only one person that I can think of who's going to be available in the summer now.
Yeah.
I think could replace him on the short term at least, and that's Gary Warren.
Quick, Flynny, we're getting the band back together.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, the band, you would have Gary Warren, ex-player. You would have Ryan Jackson, potentially ex-player. Frank Newbley, ex-player, all out of a contract. If Mark Byrne, I know Mark Byrne's got the condition at Gillingham that if he can train with them, and if he shows that he's fit enough, that they'll sign him again. But there's potential Mark Byrne could be available,
Again, this could be a massive chapter in Newport history, because we've had the 2 years, which were brilliant. We've had the first year under Flynny, which was FA Cup and League was decent. Then we had the FA Cup again, and then we had the League, which was pretty bloody good. We just fell a little bit short, but I mean, let's be honest. This is what we are. This is where we are. We can't expect Man City every week to turning up and just playing like that. So we've got to be realistic, but we've also got to start shooting higher. And I think now is the season. You've got Lenny's gone. I'd like to see a lot of people obviously have their moan and say, "Oh, look, let's see what Flynny can do." Everybody thinks Flynny's a saviour. He's not really, but actually, let's actually see what he actually can do. Because who's to say that Lenny had that big impact? Lenny could have had a big impact, but we don't know, because we're not the ones who have the conversations with Flynny and Lenny. Lenny could have just been sat there picking up a wage, or Lenny could have been sat there running the entire squad. We don't know.
Don't know. But the thing that pisses me off more than anything are the people that have actually come out and actually said, "That's it, Flynn's fucked now." And I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute. How much of an impact did Lenny Lawrence have? He obviously gave Flynn a lot of wisdom, but what you got to remember is Lenny Lawrence was a manager, right, through the 90s and earlier noughties. So he knows football, but was he the key man behind Flynn's tactical approach? Because it was modernized tactical approach that Flynn was adopting. Now, Lenny Lawrence would have said, "Look, this is you step up and come and see him." So you'll turn around and say, "Look, this is the time where you want to make a sub now." Say he's looking tired in the centre of the pitch. You want to change it up there. That's the kind of advice you're probably giving him. Training advice, man management tactics. You know, that's the sort of stuff. When it comes to the actual playing style, how much did Lenny Lawrence contribute to the actual tactical approach that Flynn adopted? And Flynn was the manager. What he said went.
Whoever's the manager, whoever it is, Mickey Mouse, whoever it is, you stand behind them and you back them until they're gone. Even if the results are going not their way. No matter what. I mean, I've never understood it. I mean, there's some managers I'm like, oh, bloody hell, like, it's a pain in the backside watching them. But if a manager is giving their all and you can see that, then as fans, we don't care.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's be honest, there's some people are going to moan about that. But when you look at Wesley, he didn't give it his all. And he just seemed like he was just, I'm better than everyone else, blah, 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 blah. When you've got a manager that buys into that culture, buys into the fans and the club and the city, then what more can you ask for? Somebody that just gives their all life.
There's somebody once pointed out to me that a lot of fan-owned clubs like us had managers who were connected to either the club or the city in some way before Flynn was ever manager. Now, you had Tisdale at Exeter, you had Neil Ardley at Wimbledon, and you had Gareth Ainsworth at Wickham, all fan-owned clubs. All
was wasn't he Ainsworth was an ex-player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's an ex-Wickham player, yeah. Ardley was an ex-Wimbledon player, and I saw Tisdale. I'm not sure if he was an ex-Exeter player, but he's from that neck of the woods at least. I'm sure there's some connection to the club there in some way, shape, or form. So, looks like you're ready to have your dinner, mate.
Yeah, that's me. Sausage, chorizo, casserole, that is, for me tonight.
Oh, that sounds stunning. So, I'm thinking, as we've been yapping on for over 50 minutes now, I'm thinking that's a good time to call time on this this conversation. So, you go off and enjoy your evening meal, mate. And, thank you very much for joining me for the chat. It's been great, mate. And it's good to relive that great escape day and that Mark O'Brien goal. It's a fitting tribute for us to talk this way about him and that goal and that day and the whole Great Escape campaign, on the day that we found out that the poor guy's got to end his football career at the age of 27. So
it'd be great for the club now, if they can, get him in his coaching badges. Get him in the academy sector.
Keep him, get him.
Look after players like that. Do it with Franks, do it with all of them.
Yeah, so obviously we looked after Franks financially. I know we had aspirations sort of outside of the actual physical game of football. I think he wanted to be like a sports director, something like that. So obviously we're wishing him luck on that. Whatever Mark O'Brien's future has in store for him, I hope Newport County play a part in it. He deserves it. Awesome. So, John, it's been a pleasure as always, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
Always a pleasure. Cheers, Chris. Anyway, take care, mate.
Cheers, John. Take care, mate. Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again. Make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.